Hi guys, this is another video on pre-trained unit implementation in TensorFlow. Here we are going to use DenseNet 121 as a pre-trained encoder. In my previous videos, I have used VGG16, VGG19 and ResNet 50 as the pre-trained encoder in the unit architecture. For those videos, click the I button or check the description. Now we're going to see a few slides where we're going to understand what is DenseNet and what is unit. Here in this picture, you can see three different connectivity patterns. First is the standard, second is ResNet, and third is DenseNet. In this, initially we begin with the standard ConNet, where input image goes through multiple convolution and obtain high level feature. It consists of no shortcut connection or any other thing, just simple things. Next comes the ResNet, which introduced the concept of identity mapping. And identity mapping is just an element wise addition of the input feature map with the output feature map. This identity mapping or shortcut connection help in better propagation of gradient during the back propagation. Next comes the DenseNet connectivity pattern, which has more shortcut connections as compared to the ResNet. So in DenseNet, we can say each layer obtain additional input from all previous layer and passes on its own feature map to the subsequent layer. Here concatenation is used instead of element wise addition as compared to the ResNet. So we can say each layer is receiving a collective knowledge from all the previous layer. Now we're going to use this DenseNet architecture in the unit. Here you can see the original unit architecture, which consists of an encoder, a decoder, and 4 skip connection in between them. This skip connection helps to route the information from encoder to the decoder and help in better generation of the segmentation map. And also they help in the back propagation. They help to carry forward the gradient directly to the encoder layer. So now we're going to replace this encoder part with a pre-trained DenseNet 121, which is trained on ImageNet dataset. Now we're going to implement this DenseNet 121 unit, or we can call it dense unit, in the TensorFlow using Keras API. So here we have our model.py file, and within that file we have imported all the layers class, convolution, batch, normalization, activation, all other layers which we require. Next we have imported the model class, and at last we have our DenseNet 121 architecture, which we're going to use as the pre-trained architecture. So if you all remember the unit, it consists of a basic convolution block, which consists of two 3 by 3 convolution. Each is followed by a ReLU activation function. So this basic convolution block is used in both encoder and the decoder. But here our encoder is replaced by the DenseNet 121. So we're going to use it in the decoder. So let's build that basic convolution block. Fconv block. And you take the inputs, and second is the number of filters, that is number of feature channels. First is the convolution block, con 2D. First is take the number of filter, then a kernel size of 3 by 3, padding is equals to same, and its input is the inputs. Next we're gonna introduce batch normalization. Initially during the original architecture, batch normalization was not there, but after the introduction of the batch normalization, we started using it. So we also introduced it in the unit also. Nowadays generally majority of the convolutional neural network has batch normalization. Maybe you can, if you know any architecture we don't use batch normalization, you can comment that down so that we all can also know. So now we have these 3 layers: convolution, batch normalization, and the ReLU activation. We're going to copy them again and paste them because we need them again. So now we're going to change the input of the second convolution layer to the output of the first activation function. So now we have two 3 by 3 convolution layer, each followed by batch normalization and ReLU activation function, and we're going to return the output of the second activation function. So we have this basic convolution block. Now we're going to start building our DenseNet 121 unit. Build DenseNet 121 unit. Now we're going to give it a parameter input shape. First of all, we're going to define our input layer. Inputs equals to input, and you take input shape. Next we're going to need to load our pre-trained model. Let's do some basic comments here. Inputs, and next we need to load the pre-trained architecture. You're gonna say pre-trained DenseNet 121. Okay, let's say DenseNet is equals to DenseNet 121. First of all, we need to say include top is equals to false. We don't want the classifier at the last. We just want the only the basic architecture. We don't want to add the last classifier. Weights, we need to load the weight from the ImageNet architecture. As we are saying, it's a pre-trained architecture, so it's important to load the weight, otherwise it's not kind of pre-trained. Next is the input tensor is equals to inputs. Okay, so now we have loaded our pre-trained architecture. The input this and input shape we're gonna provide. Now we need to print the summary of the DenseNet so that we can see if it's working or not. Now let's run this. Now first we're going to define the input shape. An input shape, let's say 512 by 512 by 3. Okay, so make sure that your image is an RGB or 3 channel image, because these pre-trained network are trained for 3 channel image. If you have a grayscale image, then what you can do, you can copy the same channel 3 times and give it. Now let's call the build DenseNet unit function, give it input shape. Now we're gonna run it. I hope you can see everything clearly. I make sure the font is good. Okay, so we can see some TensorFlow message. Okay, let me make sure a little zoom out. Now it's, I think it's, so you can see the last output layer is 16 by 16 by 124. So that's the effect of not saying include top is equals to false. Let's say if we say to true, now what happened? I think first is gonna download the weights for that file, or we can see what happened. Here we can see the weights are downloading. So let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, so now we can see at the last we have 1000 a dense layer with number of output as 1000, but we don't need it. We just need this ReLU activation at the last. So we're gonna say include top to false. Now it has weight loaded and give it an input tensor of size 512 by 500. Let's run it again. So now we will see, go through this architecture and extract the skip connections, because this is the encoder. So you can see initially the input size is 512 by 512, and at last it became to a feature of size 16 by 16 by 1024. So now we need to extract skip connection from this architecture for the encoder. That says encoder. Now we have 4 skip connection, if you remember. So we're gonna say S1 as the first skip connection, name of the architecture, then get layer, get underscore layer, name of the layer we need to specify, and say output. So I'm going to copy this 3 more time, and I'm going to rename them to S2, S3 and S4. So we just need to find the name, and you should also know the shape, what shape that skip connection need to have. The first shape is 512 because initially the input shape is of 512. Okay, then it again decreases by 2. Now the second skip connection is of size 256 by 256, and like this third is going to be of 128 by 128, and the fourth is going to be of 64 by 64. So you need to extract skip connection according to the shape. So we need the first feature with the size of 512 or 512, first skip connection of that shape. So let's search it here in this architecture. Let's complete diagram. So we have the input layer with 512 by 512 by 3, and next, okay, we don't have any next layer, so we're going to use input one, that is input image. Okay, this is done. Now we need second skip connection of the shape 256 by 256. Let's go through this architecture, and okay, it's 128 already. So you can see we have one slash ReLU as 256 by 256, and it's an output of the activation. It's much better to have an activation function instead of an output of a batch normalization or n over convolution. And third skip connection is a shape 128 by 128. So we have this 128. Okay, let's go down. Okay, so we have this pull to ReLU. We need the output of a activation function, not a convolution. So let's go for this pull to underscore ReLU. Now like this, we need to extract the fourth skip connection of the shape 64, because 128 divided by 2 is 64. Okay, so we have got it. It's pull3 underscore ReLU. So we have extracted 4 skip connection. Now we're going to print them and check their shape. Now we're going to run it again and see. Okay, so you can see at last we have 512 by 512 first skip connection. Second skip connection shape is 256 by 256. Third is 128 by 128. And fourth is the last skip connection is shape 64 by 64. Now the encoder and the skip connection are completed. Now we need the bridge, the bottleneck layer that connect the encoder and the decoder. We can also extract it from the encoder also, the pre-trained encoder only. You can say bridge, and we're gonna extract from the densenet dot get layer dot output. So bridge would be of size 32 by 32. Let's write it here, 32. Now we have B as the bridge. So we need an skip connection or the feature with the size 32 by 32. Okay, we are here. So this is pull 4 underscore conv. Not pull 4 underscore con, pull 4 underscore ReLU. Okay, next space is it. We're gonna remove it. So now this is complete. We have all the skip connection and the bridge feature maps. Now we need to work on the decoder part. Now we're gonna build the decoder block. Let's say decoder here. So we're gonna have 4 decoder blocks. So we're gonna build another function called decoder block, and we're gonna repeat those decoder block function. Okay, decoder block. So decoder block is going to take the input feature maps, then the skip connection feature maps, and then the number of filters or number of feature channels. Okay, so it first uses a 2 by 2 transpose convolution. Okay, and it takes number of filters, then a 2 by 2 kernel size and a stride of 2. So stride 2 would convert would double the spatial dimension, that is height and width. If height is 64 by 60, if the resolution is 64 by 64, it would be converted to 128 by 128. And the benefit of using transpose convolution is that it learns how to upsample. Like in case of bilinear upsampling, it does not learn. It just uses simple equations and it do that for function. It does not learn, and it take the input as inputs given in the parameter in the decoder function, that input. Next comes the concatenate. Here remember that the shape of this output of the transpose convolution and the skip connection features must be same, otherwise they won't match. It give an error. Next comes the convolution block. Take the input as x and the number of filters. Now we're going to return x here. So we have our decoder blocks ready. D1 is equals to decoder block. Input is going to be B1. So B1 has a shape of 32. Okay, so this B1 goes to this transpose convolution. It becomes 64. Okay, so now we need a skip connection with the shape of 64. I can see the last S4 skip connection is of shape 64. So we can say S4 here, and number of filters we can say 512. Okay, So like this we're gonna, so now let's first print the shape of the D1, and I believe that the shape of D1 should be 64 by 64. Let's print it here, 64. Okay, so you can see the shape is 64 by 64 by 512. So I'm right. Now we'll go for the 3 more decoder blocks, and I'm going to copy this code again 3 times. Okay, I'm going to rename that to D2, D3 and D4. Now first we go to D2, and input became D1. The output of the first decoder block would act as the input for the second decoder block, and like this way it works. Connection would to S3, because now 64 will convert to 128, and then the size of skip connection with 128 is S3. So we're gonna write it to S3, and 512 divided by 2 became 256. So we're gonna reduce the number of feature channels by half. Okay, like this. The input for the D3 became D2, skip connection became S2, and number of filters became 128. And at the last, the fourth decoder block, the input would be D3, skip connection would be S1, and number of filters would be 64. So we have decoder ready, and shape should be, its shape should be 256 by 256 by 64. Let's print that. While working on any architecture, make sure that you have the shapes ready. You can imagine them in your mind. You can see I have predicted it. Oh, I have said it 256. It should be 512. Okay, okay. Originally the architecture is, no, the origin shape is 512. So after this, it should be 512. Okay, if I made a mistake. Now we'll get the output mask. Outputs. Let's say output is equals to, here comes a 1 by 1 convolution with a 1 feature channel. We want to say it 1 because we are building a segment binary segmentation architecture. So if you are working on a binary segmentation, number of channel would be 1, and activation function is going to be sigmoid. If you are working on more than 1 channel, then number of classes would be, let's, if you're working on 10 class, you can type 10 here, and activation function would be softmax. 1 by 1 the kernel size, and padding would be equals to same, and activation going to be sigmoid, and input would be D4. So now we're going to create our model. So model is equals to model. It's going to take inputs and outputs, and we're going to return model. So our architecture is ready. So we're going to print its summary. Again we're going to run it and see summary and the number of parameter, or any issue or any error is there. Okay, so you can see these are the total number of parameter. It has these trainable parameter and this number of untrainable parameter. These untrainable parameter basically comes from the batch normalization. You can see the input. Let's go to the input. Where is the, go it slowly. It's really long architecture. Long. So the input size is 512 by 512 by 3, and it goes through the entire pre-train encoder, then it goes through the decoder layer, and at the last we get an output of size 512 by 512 by 1. So this is the complete architecture for the DenseNet 121 unit. I hope I was able to give you some new information, and if I did, then please like this video and give me a thumbs up. Grab the subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter to get the update about my latest video. Till then, have a nice day.